Hi there guys, the Ego Rat here with my top 5 ways to duel and beat the meta. Well, at least duel them and have a relatively good matchup against them. First of all, I'm not going, if you disagree with me, then please let me know, because I'd like to know. But yeah, my point number 1 is your deck. Use something that will actually affect the meta, or that doesn't have an effect, or the meta where the meta doesn't have an effect on it. So use something where it can either stop a lot of spells against pendulums, or is able to use a lot of the tech cards in your main deck against, or a lot of cards that people side deck against the meta, but be able to use them in your main deck. Because that way you can actively duel the meta really easily. And basically, don't use a terrible deck that has no chance against the meta. So don't use aliens, basically. Because don't use aliens or something along those lines, because you're very unlikely to be able to win. And try and use a deck that actually is an actual combo deck or an archetype, because archetypes just tend to have built-in consistency rather than be able to not use much. Yeah, because you don't want to literally just open 5 traps or something like that unless you're basically using chain burn or possibly VA. So yeah, I'm using my laptop here. Point number 2 is your side deck. Make sure your side deck is able to basically change, or is able to change your deck to basically allow you to duel the meta, but also allow it to basically counteract their side deck. So if you're going to be using if you use a deck that has a lot of traps that can easily stop the meta, use something different, to stop your opponent from destroying your traps, like Imperial Custom or something like that. So just that way, it's like, well, you've destroyed my Imperial Custom. It's fine. It's fine. My skill drain or my anti-spell will survive. And then point number 3 is play against the meta. Just because, well, if you don't, then you're not going to have any idea on how to duel them. You're not going to have any idea on what a lot of their plays are. You're not going to really know what to basically stop if you can. So yeah, whether or not it's in real life or online, duel the meta. Get to know people who play it and get them to talk to you about it. So that way you can find out what the aim of that deck is and try and stop it. Number 4, the element of surprise, because, well, the element of surprise is really good for you if you're using a rogue deck, because your opponent isn't going to know what you're using, and if you're fast enough, they won't be able to stop you because you've already done what you wanted to do. So, say you're using the Magic Explosion Monarchs, game 1. You've used that to basically beat them game 1, and then game 2 you might side into normal Monarchs. Like one thing that I used to do with my Dark Worlds, when I had Malefic Dark Worlds, my side deck was basically sided into normal Dark Worlds, because at that point people will be like, well, fine, we'll stop the big monsters. At that point I'm just going, okay, I'll then ditch the 3 Graphers, blow up your back row, summon the Graphers and keep blowing things up until I can just OTK. But yeah, there are ways you can keep the element of surprise in your duel, so that way your opponent isn't going to be able to know or isn't going to be able to counteract you as easily. And number 5 is use tech cards to your advantage. So rather than just have like 1 copy of something, run 2 or 3 of it. So, unless of course the ban list says you can only have 1 or that sort of thing. So like, yeah, have like your 1 vanities, your 1 skill drain. But if you're using a deck which is heavy trap base, put in 2 or 3 anti spells, because if you don't tribute summon, try main decking your Mask of Restricts. If you know that your locals is high in Monarchs or anti-spies if it's high in Pendulums, or that sort of thing. And then if you're going to a regional, figure out what is popular at regionals and then find ways to tech against it. But then that goes back to, make sure you practice with the deck, because otherwise you're not going to know when to activate things. And you need to be able to do that, otherwise you're basically going to screw yourself. So yeah, they're my top 5 things, which I'd say they don't really matter on what meta you play in. I'm pretty sure these things will be valid for a few years, and well, maybe not the specific cards that I named, but a lot of everything else is going to be valid for you. So even if you're playing a deck that was meta, but it's like a meta from a couple of years ago, be able to counteract the now meta. Okay? See you guys, and give me your thoughts, opinions. Let me know what you really think. Feel free to call me a scrub, I really don't mind, because to be fair, I pretty much am. I plan on uploading a few duels where Wasteland is going to be, or Wasteland Citizen, who did the Despot deck. I plan on basically, if I can, getting him to duel some people and recording that, just so that people can see Despots in action. He might say no to this, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to twist his leg. You know, give him a wave, it's fine. So, goodbye, and God bless.